All right, everyone. We are back again with another episode of Nerdcamp Sports. We're here in the building on this wonderful Monday evening. Raj, how you feeling tonight, my brother?
Oh man, I'm feeling great. Excited about what's going on in the sports world. Ready to talk about it, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to hold off on the NBA Finals till R&B gets on the camera. Um,
Okay.
Even though that'd be the right place to start. But I'm gonna start with a topic that's near and dear to our hearts. Kirk Cousins, Kirk, Captain Kirk, KC. It's not
hmm
looking good. It's not looking good for him this season, man. It's not looking like he's going to have an opportunity to play. I know that he was the Steelers' last lifeline had the Aaron Rodgers signing not have happened.
Right.
But um, Kirk Cousins was given an obscure amount of money to start with the Atlanta Falcons before last off
hmm
season rather. Obviously, it didn't pan out, but typically, and we know this because we've seen it, is when a team decides that they're not going to, how do you put it? When a team decides they're going to pay a guy, give him the money, and then draft someone right under them to undermine that, it doesn't hone well. To me,
hmm
it's stupid because, okay, for multiple reasons. You first of all, it's stupid because you spent millions of dollars, right? You spent
Right.
millions of dollars believing in this guy, saying you're the guy, you're going to be our franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much money you've paid him, you should draft someone hurts their confidence. Like it really is like, damn, you told me I'm the guy. You paid me
hmm
millions of dollars. You guaranteed X amount of dollars, and then you go right beneath me and you draft someone else.
Right.
So that's stupid as well. And then
hmm
then once you make the switch, because eventually 90% of the time that switch is coming. Once you make the switch, now you got a contract that's too big to move that no
hmm
one's gonna want because now they've seen that he's damaged goods in a sense, like in terms of the way that he's playing or said quarterback is playing, because it could be anyone, not just this specific reason. And then on top of that, now you got to cut him if you can't trade him, and then you got to eat that salary cap money.
Yeah.
So, that's four reasons why it is stupid to do what they did.
Yeah.
And to me, the Falcons, like Michael Penix Jr., he's a little unorthodox, if you will.
hmm
Um, I'm not saying he can't be a great quarterback, but he's real raw to me. Like, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Just the way he plays is raw. It's not, it needs refining. It needs to be shaped. It needs to do something. But if Kirk Cousins, if I'm him, like you kind of living the life. You about to be paid, I think it's 27, 28 million to ride the bench. But obviously he wants to play. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on what I just said? And if he is to move, where's a viable option for him at this point right now?
Honestly, I mean, you got to look at his whole entire career, as his totality. He's entering the twilight of his career. He
Yes.
had several serious injuries that happened to him. One of them being a torn ACL, if I believe, right? Or was it a PCL? It was an ACL, right?
I think it might have been an ACL and a meniscus tear,
Or
both.
meniscus tear. That's what it was. Yeah. So he had a lot of serious injuries that happened to him in the past couple years. And to be quite honest, if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm just looking to be in the role of being a mentor, being somebody that can help the next quarterback come up. And I know a lot of those quarterbacks nowadays don't really see that role as being something glorious. But if you're making $20 million to sit on a bench, or if you're making $20 million to mentor the next upcoming talent, why not? That's more than most coaches are making. So it's the same essential role to be able
Right.
to help and develop the next talent that's coming up. If I'm Atlanta, I'm just going to just bite the bullet and just keep him. I'm keeping him because he did play pretty good when he was healthy. But there was a time period where he played, poorly as well. But the majority of the time, he was showing signs of being a starting quarterback that can actually win games. So I think he should stay in Atlanta. That's just my personal opinion. But if we have to move him, I would probably move him to a team that got really low expectations for the season. So I'll probably move him to a team, I don't know, that's a bottom feeding team like the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll move him to the Raiders, or I'll move him to
Saints.
the Saints, a team like that, because you're not going to really find a quarterback that can win you 5 to even 10 games potentially in the league that's a free agent or someone that's potentially a trade. Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. He could give you some touchdowns. He can make sure that the wide receivers can go off. He makes your wide receivers look good, and he can win games. We witnessed this multiple times. He did it in Washington. He did it over in Minnesota. Now he's a different quarterback because of the injuries, but I do believe he's somebody that you can depend on for at least about 5 to 10 wins a season. And that's somebody I think that you want to pick up if you want to go in that direction. But if you want to keep searching and hoping and wishing, then go out there and find your what's that guy's name that was in Las Vegas? It begins with an M. No. The guy with the mullet. Goodness, hold on. Yeah, I'll give you 1 second. You got to go find those type of quarterbacks that are pretty much on the market, but you're constantly moving him all over the place. Hold on. But anyway, point is finding a quarterback that you can actually trust and a quarterback that actually can win. But they got Geno Smith. Geno Smith is with the Las Vegas Raiders right now, right? Yes, so I will move him to Seattle. I'll move him to Seattle and see what happens.
Well, he wouldn't start there. They got Darnold.
In Seattle?
Seattle signed Sam Darnold, 3 years, 105 million.
Yeah, but just keep him. Now, Sam Darnold, somebody that can start, but what if he gets hurt? You got Kirk Cousins as a backup.
Yeah, you're right. But then he's in the same situation. That's the
I would think a better situation, because in Atlanta, we know the future is obviously it's Penix Jr.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm just thinking about the different levels and the different places he can go. But I would have him as a role, like I said, as a backup quarterback, somebody that can help mentor the next upcoming star.
Absolutely. I can't even. There's nothing even wrong with that. It could happen.
Minshew, that's his name, Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Somebody like a Gardner Minshew role. You know what I mean? Somebody that's like comes in, he wins a couple games and mess up your parlay, and then he leaves.
Comes in just to mess up your parlay. Like, yeah, I'm here to fuck that shit up. Like, there's nothing else I'm here to do.
There's no reason why he's throwing 500 yards.
Just to mess up your parlay. Like, nah, bro.
Oh, you thought you was winning money this week? Yeah, watch this 500-yard 6 touchdown game.
About to drop it on you like it's hot.
For no reason. No reason. And you know the
None.
team ain't going nowhere. He did that in Jacksonville. He should tick me off, man. I should be so mad at him. Like, are you serious? The Jacksonville Jaguars lost against, they won against the freaking the Chargers, or they'll beat out, they'll beat out a team that you never thought would win. But he used to do that all the time, man. He's something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another player that's in the news. I don't know if it was made official today, but I did see it. The Texans are looking to sign Nick Chubb, or that they were signing him, and to
Yeah.
use him and Joe Mixon as a backfield.
Right.
Does this help the Texans, in your opinion?
I like it. I believe it. I believe it definitely helps the Texans, and any talent they can acquire that's positive talent, doesn't shake up the locker room and can put up some yards. I'm all for it, especially uh, him coming off an injury, because
Right.
remember, he was hurt, and this isn't the first time he hurt himself like that. He hurt himself back in college as well, I believe, and in the NFL. I think he was really injury prone in those times. But the thing is, you play him as a RB2, have him come off, as like one of those running backs that can run in, get a quick touchdown, and then sit on the bench. I'm cool with that, because there's not a lot of pressure on him to run so many downs and
And to
be
be
out
the
there
guy.
every. Yeah, so you got Mixon out there doing his thing. You got, of course, you got CJ Stroud out there doing his thing, throwing. You don't need very much. All you need to do is just focus on him just getting those quick downs and making sure he doesn't get hurt and protect him.
I think that, okay, I'm going to describe how I feel in two different scenarios, as a team and as I look at the AFC. When I
Mm-hmm.
look at the team, it's going to help. You lost Diggs. He really didn't get a fair shake there. I think they should have re-signed him there personally,
Right.
because he really, really, really did not get a fair shake. Um,
Right.
so you have Diggs there. I do believe, or you had Diggs. So now you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Tank Dell's coming off another catastrophic injury.
Yeah.
So, when you look at it, when you look at that, Tank Dell coming off that injury, you're gonna, and you don't, and now Diggs is gone. Now you need another receiver. You need another something on the offensive end. You don't want
Right.
Mixon. Mixon played out of his mind, but you don't want him
Yeah.
doing everything, right?
Exactly.
Then on top of having Mixon now, when you have Mixon, Chubb is also coming off of an injury. However, now you don't have to have Chubb be the guy the whole time. So
Mm-hmm.
in reality, this does help them as a team. Now, when you look at their division, when I look how they match up against their division, we're going to talk about Cam Ward a little later. But, from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, this man's ready to play. And this man's
Right.
ready to come in and be like, I was a first overall pick and I'm going to make an impact. Not, we
Yeah.
haven't seen him play. He might not. We don't know. But he's going to be coming to compete. They have made a couple moves, nothing crazy that I've seen or that I can recall, but they have made some moves to get something for him on the field. Now, we know the Colts are hit and miss. They're a hot mess at times.
Yeah.
However, they are the most competitive team close to them, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville, we don't even know what to expect anymore.
No.
So I still have them as the favorites in their division. Now, when I look up how they match up against the AFC, that's where they're going to have trouble. That's where it's going to be tough, because you're looking at different people. You're looking at different
Right.
players. You're looking at Lamar, and the Ravens with the run game. You're looking at Burrow with that monster Jamar Chase. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at Josh Allen. You're looking at all these teams and all these players, and now you got to figure out how to come into that. Got a comment here on Facebook. My boy Nick says Houston should win the AFC South. They should, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, you know, you don't know what the Steelers are going to bring to the table. You don't.
Right.
It might be in the you still got you, and you know, people will say it if they want, but until someone in the AFC knocks 15 out, he's still the go-to guy. No matter that he lost in the Super Bowl. When we're talking about the AFC crown, he's been the owner. It's a reason why it's called the Patrick Mahomes Invitation.
That's right.
You know, so when you look at that, and hey, listen, they're not a great playoff team, but during the regular season, them Dolphins be putting up some points. Well, you know, they be in the mix. Then we get to the playoffs and the mix be just dry.
It gets cold outside and they got to go play in cold weather.
Right, and unless they're gonna get that number 1 seed, that they always gonna have that problem. Yeah. So I believe this is a great move for the team. It's a great move to help further them win their division, but it's not going to be enough to help them get to where they really want to be, because Stroud has that potential to get into that echelon, to that top conversation. Because like I said, we've got it. To me, I got it in no order: Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, and I gotta put Hurts in there now. You won a Super Bowl and he played well in it, so I gotta put Hurts in there. But CJ Stroud has an opportunity to get into that conversation. You know,
absolutely, and with the talent that they have, and they just, like I said, added new talent to it with Nick Chubb. If it's official, you know, they should be able to wrap it up and get the AFC South, because we already know how it goes with these teams that are like in the top 3 lottery. We know that they have to go through their bumps because obviously they haven't won any games in the previous season. So Cam Ward is going to have one of those seasons where he's going to have to adjust. And he's probably going to figure it out quick, but he's not going to figure it out in the first 5, 10 games, 20 games. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take him, 16 games, excuse me. He's going to take him a minute to really figure out what's going on, how the NFL's play their football, because everything's coming fast paced. So we'll see what happens. But I got the Texans winning the AFC South. It's not going to be a close one, but it's not going to be, by a long shot either. It's going to be a pretty good competition because, like you said, the Jaguars, we don't know what's going to happen with them. We'll see. And, of course, the Colts, if they can figure out how to get back to where they were, they might be able to make some noise too. But if I had to choose, I'm definitely choosing the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. So while we're here, Cam Ward, I had read that he's the first one in the door at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Sometimes the general managers and ownership have to kick him out at night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about him, but I can tell you he might be a fan of Mr. Kobe Bryant. Because that kind of not recklessness, but that kind of motivation lets you know that he's coming to play.
Yeah.
I ain't saying he's gonna be, Patrick Mahomes out the gate, or Lamar, or hell, even a regular season Dak Prescott out of the gate. But damn it, I'm telling you, this man's coming to play. He's coming to show who he is. He's coming to be being different, and he's coming to knock everyone on their ass.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for the Titans this season?
Well, let's check the Titans records last season, because one thing I know, like I said, if you're bringing the same talent that you had last season, you're not going to see too much of a difference. However, if you got somebody like Cam Ward, who's a workaholic, somebody that's dedicated to the game, somebody that's focused, and like you said, Kobe-esque type energy that's going to come there, show up early, leave late, then I'm all for it. But let's see real quick. The Titans last season's record was, let me see 1 second.
Was it 6-11?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Hold on a second. I'll tell you. I believe it was 2024. It was 3-14.
Oh wow. So
Yeah, 3-14 last season. The season before that was 6-11. I would probably say, they probably get like another 4 more wins. They might get 7 wins.
So you're saying they're gonna go 7 and what would that be? 7-10.
Yeah, 7-10.
Hold on. I wanna kind of just bring up their schedule for the season.
Yeah.
It's Titans schedule. So when I look at their schedule, let's see. Why? No, I don't want to do that. Really? Okay, here we go. So we're good. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if they can get to that because starts with the Broncos.
Okay. That's
But
a 50-50 game.
But we know what Bo Nix brings to the table. We know
True.
what that defense can bring. Then they go play the Rams.
Right.
Then they play the Colts, the Texans, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. That's a win. That's a winnable game.
Raiders is a winnable game. Patriots, winnable game. Then you got the Colts, the Chargers, the Texans again, the Seahawks, Jacksonville, Cleveland, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Saints, and then the Jaguars. So maybe they might get 7 wins. You may be right, but they got a lot of games in there where it's like, whoa, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking for a playoff breach. We're looking for improvement. And quarterback improvement comes from a person that's dedicated. And I'm not saying that he's better than all the rookies or all the quarterbacks that came in last year, but he's showing dedication. He's showing that he's ready to figure it out and win. If he's there early in the morning and leave late at night and people got to kick him out, that goes to show you that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Exactly.
So I like the kid. I liked him in college. I thought he was great. And to be quite honest, I actually have him as the running candidate for Rookie of the Year. So we'll see what happens. But I think he can get at least I would say probably 5 to 7 games. Anywhere above that will be like shocking. I don't think he's going to put on a show like what's our guy's name in Washington? Oh man, my mind's drawing a blank.
Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels type of run, because that was like something we never seen before in NFL. Somebody just come in and just completely take over. So I feel like it's going to be a great season for him, a learning period, but he's going to figure it out quick.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I posted a clip yesterday of Buffalo, and Brandon was like, "Let me back on the show. Let me back on." So, but I want to take a second and talk about their running back.
Yeah.
Their running back, from what I've read, has unfollowed them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
From what I have read, has put his house up for sale in Buffalo.
Yeah.
From what I have read, is looking for a deal that alters $15 million or more a year.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? And is he deserving of that kind of money so quickly?
See, it's one thing if it's like, does he deserve it versus what he's probably going to get. And I'm saying that because I don't think he deserves it right now, but I do think he's going to get it because they need to run this back. Whatever they need to do to get back to the AFC Championship and, of course, lose. But it is what it is.
He said, of course, whatever it needs to be, and of course, lose.
Whatever needs to happen to get him back, sign the man. Give him the opportunity to show if he is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, give him a chance. Give him a second chance. Because if they let him walk out that door, it's going to be the biggest regret they'll ever have. And at this point, you don't got no other options. How many running backs do you know that can do what he did in the playoffs? I mean, he had a generational run. There's not a lot. There's only a handful of running backs that can do what he did. Right. So I think you just pay him the money, bite the bullet, and run it back one more year.
Well, I can't say you're wrong, but this is his third season in the league, and season one was kind of just there. He didn't do much. Like, he wasn't gelled into the offense. Season two, he had 1,100 yards, 1122, 2 touchdowns. This year was 1,009 yards and 16 touchdowns. Now, we understand that you played very well, but theoretically, you've played well one season.
Right.
Like, statistically, in the second season, he did play well. He got over 1,000 yards, but only had 2 touchdowns. This year, this past year, he just went nuts.
Yeah.
So, for me, you're right. Who else is there? But who are you right now to ask for that money when you're not out of your rookie deal? You have to show the organization some faith here. And where are you going to go? They're not, yeah, you could force your way out, but where does that leave you? Right. I think Buffalo does need him because we have said on this show before that the run game is important.
They need a running back.
And they didn't have that. Their running back was Josh Allen.
Yeah. And we seen how he got lit up.
Right. So, we gotta really pay some mind to that, or pay some attention to that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
They definitely need to run it back. But I can understand why he would want that money. And I think, they would have been more inclined to give it to him had they have reached the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think so too. However, I also and one last thing I want to say is, okay, let's say they don't pay the money. Let's look at the other side of the coin. Okay. They don't pay Cooks the money. Now they got to go out and find a running back, and that's not going to be easy to find, especially in the free agent market.
Yeah, no, you're
not one that's going to do what he do.
No, they really get players really put out all, and then they catch these Jesus Christ. They catch these guys by the balls because now you force them into a corner and they don't have no way out.
Yep. Yeah, and they know that, especially when it comes down to big games like the playoffs. See, if you had an incredible, let's say he had an incredible rookie season, right? And then the second year he went off but didn't really do good in the playoffs, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation because they will have a track record of saying, okay, well, when you get to the playoffs, you kind of shrink.
Right.
So we need you to humble yourself a little bit more so you can go back and redo this deal when it's time because you're still a rookie or you're still in your rookie deal. But we already know how this goes, man. They're trying to get paid in the NFL. They're not trying to hear that. So if they have one hot season, it's almost like a rapper, right? The rapper wants to make the most of his one hot song that he got. because you never know what's going to happen in the future. So if the rapper fails, if they're just a one-hit wonder, oh well, at least they made their money, they got their bag, and they out of there. So that's the same applies with these athletes, and you see it a lot in basketball, and now it's starting to translate over to football and even in baseball. You're seeing a lot of this stuff happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, can I say two things?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, what's up, fellas?
You know, another day in the books. Happy Monday. 1 day down, 4 to go. What's up with you? How was your
Nothing
day?
much, man. Long as usual. Look, I was trying to get in here before y'all got done talking about Cam Ward because I was watching as I washed up or whatever, or listening rather. I just want to say
Oh, for
two
some reason I
things.
can't hear him.
You can't hear him?
No.
You can hear me, Mike?
I can hear you.
Why
Okay,
do we
no, it's all
always do
good.
this between me and Raj?
I can't hear, but we just gotta just.
Then
it's
just gonna come out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like last time. That's why I said it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he's doing that. That's weird.
Can you hear me?
No, but I don't think he can. You can't hear him, Raj.
No.
But I can hear you just fine.
This is,
Yeah, I don't know. It popped up on its own last time.
I'm gonna go out and come back in. I don't know. It's
He's gonna
weird.
go out and come back in
All right.
because he wanted to say something about Cam Ward before we moved on.
Oh, okay. Got you.
So hopefully, I don't know what the heck it's doing. I might have to make another room because I used the same link to do the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you.
So maybe the link's messed up or something. But I could create a new one. But I want to thank everyone for watching. We're back in action.
Yes. Appreciate everybody, man.
You know, doing what we do. Just waiting for him to come back in because he wanted to make a point about what you call it. What is this? About Cam Ward. Then once he comes back in, we can flip over quick, to the NBA.
Okay.
Talk about the finals. Because
Gotcha.
we watched a spanking last night.
Oh man, expected though. We already knew what was going to happen, but we'll get to that.
We knew. Yeah, we knew.
We knew.
We knew what was coming, and that was a beatdown. Because I mean, man, I tell you, I'm like, yo, what?
I definitely got some gripe about Tyrese Halliburton too, by the way, but I'll wait until we get to that point.
Oh boy.
Because
what? Because what?
Well,
oh yeah.
Real quick, all right. Can we? All right. So last night, right? I'm watching a game, and like I want to just I don't know when I see like stars on their team, like Tyrese Halliburton,
Yeah.
go out there and put up a clunker the way that he did and not even try. I just want to scream because I know for a fact if he was a real superstar, right? Because he's not there, but if he was trying to get there, he would take chances. He would go out there and put up at least 20 shots. Even if he missed all 20 of them, he's going to at least try. Tyrese Halliburton, let me pull up the box score because it really ticked me off. I'm like, yo, this guy, he's like Ben Simmons. he's in Ben Simmons territory right now, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
So he played 34 minutes, had 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, right? Now I'm trying to find out how many shots did he put up. I don't have the access to that. But my point is, dog, you're in a situation where you can close out, basically destroy their whole entire team with this win, right?
Yeah.
And you only put up 17 points. I mean, so y'all can put up 15. Neesmith put up 14. Turner put up 16. But dog, no one crossed the 20-point threshold.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this team, but they seem like they just turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off when they want to. And it's just annoying. And I know it's not just him, but it's driving me crazy, man, to see this.
I think that, okay, when you look at game 1, OKC let the game slide from them, right?
Right.
So, because Indiana didn't exactly play good, but they didn't exactly play bad, right?
Yeah.
Testing.
Can you hear R&B?
No. Maybe I need to come back in.
You want to try that?
Yeah.
All right, give that a shot.
Yep.
Ooh, you there, R&B? R&B, you there?
Testing. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, he's trying. Yeah, he's gonna.
frozen for a minute.
Oh, okay, he's gonna try and come back in.
Okay.
While we wait for that, I know we're kind of going back and forth, but what were you gonna say about Cam Ward?
Oh, so it was two things I wanted
Yeah,
to
I can
say.
hear him.
Cam
Back
Ward.
here? Okay, we're just flipping back quick. He wanted to make a point about Cam Ward, so go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not really a point. Just a bold prediction and a statement.
Okay.
I'm predicting that Cam Ward. I'm here to tell you heard it here first. Tennessee Titans. You got your wish. You guys have another Steve McNair.
Yes.
You have another Steve McNair. Tennessee Titans. Be happy and rejoice. Because and with that type of mindset and work ethic, I hope for the best for him. I believe that he's going to be a dog, and so you know what I'm saying, just the way he's looked in the little highlights that I've seen in the rookie OTAs, and just his stature standing in the pocket, the way he moves around is just so McNair-esque. He just reminds me. He's built like him a little bit. He just reminds me of Steve McNair. So I just wanted to say that, and also quickly, when you guys were talking about the Texans signing Nick Chubb, I wanted to put it in the comments, but I was showering. But it's a copycat league. We're now going to see a lot of the teams doing the same things that the Detroit Lions have been doing the past three to four seasons, because even before David Montgomery got here, remember we had Williams in the backfield with another running back, like a dual running back system. So if Nick Chubb can stay healthy and Mixon can stay healthy, like you said, Mixon being the feature back, that way you're not putting too much on Chubb, who's had a injury riddled history of a career thus far. You know what I'm saying? The sky can be the limit. But that's all I wanted to add to those two things.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent points, man. I mean, one thing we learned about the league, and you're right, R&B, it's a copycat league. And what I was always told, it's okay to be a copycat just as long as you're copying the right cat. And if you're going to find a running back duo that's going to work, Mixon and Chubb works perfect.
Especially if they can both stay healthy. And then that's a good counter to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. And trust me, that's the power of putting together a good team and building it the right way. because they're not out there making flashy moves or signing free agents that they're not supposed to sign just to make splashes. They're doing it the right way. And I just hope that I hope that CJ Stroud can prove me wrong, man. I hope that he can prove me wrong. I've been very critical of CJ Stroud, but I do believe he's great. I think he's got potential to be top 5 in the league, but there's some moments that he just kind of shrinks, and I just hope that he proves me wrong this season, because I think if they can win their division and make sure everyone's healthy going into the playoffs, they can make some noise. I'm not saying they can beat the Chiefs, but they could definitely make noise in the AFC.
My only real quick.
What happened?
I don't know. He just cut out, and I got to go back off the big screen to the
Damn.
little screen. Just not the night, I guess. I don't know what it is. There he is. Hold on.
This shit is dirt.
Now I can't hear.
Now you can't hear him again.
No, he can't
I'll
hear
leave
me
and I'll come
again.
back. I don't know what's
This
going
is
on.
dirt, bro.
He's gonna leave and come back.
Yeah. I'll leave
Oh
and come
my
back.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
What? He just
My
kicked you
apologies.
out?
It just kicked me out. I was literally about to say something, and next thing I know, it was back at the
Mid-sentence.
screen saying enter studio. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think I'm gonna make this is the same. Reuse the same studio. So I was telling Raj I'm gonna have to probably make a new studio, see if that helps the problem. Starting with the
Maybe.
next time. I don't know. Because I can hear both of you fine. I'm not having any issues.
And I think it's because you the leader of the of the portal.
Right.
Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's doing me and Raj.
Now you can hear him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead, Ron.
What was you saying, RB?
My only pushback to the whole CJ Stroud thing, which we've had this conversation before, is that I have not, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you have, but me personally, I have not seen CJ Stroud shrink in the moment where he's had all his requisite weapons available. I've seen him rise to the moment where he hasn't had all his requisite weapons available, but I have also seen him shrink in moments where he didn't have them all available, which I think is something that can happen to damn near any quarterback, the greatest of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Look at Patrick Mahomes, without an offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Not as electrifying, right? So, it's just it's apples to oranges, but I would hold out, me personally, I would hold out on looking at CJ Stroud in that way until I see him actually shrink in the moment where he's, where you like, damn, ain't no excuses for him. He got everybody available and he didn't show up.
Yeah.
They've had some catastrophic injuries since he's been there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're right. And especially with his big time receivers too. With Diggs and Tank Dell. Yeah.
And then remember Nico Collins was hurt a lot of that first year.
Oh yeah,
or was it last year?
Yeah, and last year too. Yep. That's fair. I like I said, I'm hoping that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Because I really wanted to see him go, and I want to see him get to the Super Bowl. Because that's how talented he is. I truly believe if you catch the AFC right, he can make it to the Super Bowl. And I'm hoping that happens in his career, because to have that type of arm talent and speed, I think that he can do it. I just hope that he can get it done.
Absolutely. So we were talking about the finals. So we just kind of reiterate you were iterating how Halliburton really made you upset. And I was saying how Halliburton, like I said, when you look at game one, OKC played pretty much a perfect game. Right? And Indiana didn't play good, but Indiana didn't play bad. They are the definition of team basketball, right? Like, and it can be anyone's night, any other night. You're looking for Halliburton to just take over and be that guy. But I'm going to tell you, Did you see what they did to him that was different in game 1 versus game 2?
What was different?
Game one, like they made him work, but eventually he was able to slip out of those spots, right? And start going. And he was making those shots even with being defended. Game 2, they made sure that there was a different body on him, a different style of defender to make him uncomfortable, to show him something different each time he touched the ball, each time he went around a pick. They were more prepared for him defensively. So, like when I seen there was a point in the game, he had like 5 points. I don't know what he ended with for the game.
Yeah,
last night
17.
I think he had 7. Yeah, I'm about to say 17, 18, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he had 17 points.
So they were able to pretty much, because I think he had roughly the same amount in the first game, but they were able to make it look like he wasn't even there. He wasn't even a factor. Throwing different bodies at him. I noticed there were a lot less of those open looks. They were more ready for those rotations that the Pacers like to do. They were more prepared for this game overall.
They made adjustments.
They made the adjustments needed. Halliburton, to me, this is just my humbled opinion. Halliburton, to me, is very one-dimensional. When what he likes to do isn't working, because there was a point in that game where they had said that he had no paint points. Like he could shoot, yeah, but he likes to attack the basket. When what he likes to do or what he'd rather do for that night does not work, he don't know how to adjust in the game. And then he looks like he's drowning. That's what's going to stop him from being what R&B said yesterday was he's a star, but he doesn't call him a superstar.
Right.
Things like that is what stops. He's got to be able to say, all right, this is my team in a sense. I got to figure out a way to help my team. And to me, that didn't happen last night. That did not happen. We knew OKC was going to come in with a vengeance. They wanted to tie this series and go back to Indiana. Tied. They didn't want to be down 2-0. And they know ultimately, they probably are the better team. At least in my opinion, they are.
Yeah.
Not saying that the Pacers aren't a good team or trying to disrespect them in any way, but OKC to me is the better team.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the game last night, R&B?
Well, just what you just said, you summed it up. OKC definitely is the better team, and they showed it last night. But it's still called sport at the end of the day. And I think the other day when we were live, we all had said that you can't sleep on Indiana, and I think that that's still the case. Hey, the better team doesn't always win, right? They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't always win. So you still can't sleep on Indiana. You still can't sleep on Rick Carlisle, who we all recognize as probably one of the top 5, maybe top 3 coaches in the NBA, NBA champion, to make the adjustments, him and his staff. And they're going back to Indiana for game 3 now. And you know what I'm saying? You also have to look at it like this. Yeah, did they, not show maybe as good as they wanted to last night in game 2? But let's be honest here. The Pacers are playing with house money, and they went in there in the game 1 in the OKC and stole one. And that's the objective. No matter what, in the same 7-game series, we can all say what we want to say. Hey, just want to take it one game at a time, or saying just want to win every game or whatever. But it's strategy to this shit. Everybody knows in the 7-game series, especially in the finals, when it's all on the line, which means that these are the top 2 teams supposedly left of the whole dance. If we can go on the road and still at least 1 to start the series, You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want two, but you really thinking one.
Mm-hmm.
If you can
Mm-hmm.
steal that one, hey, you've done your job. Now it's time to battle because the pressure is still on OKC. We got to see how a young OKC comes into Indiana for Game 3 tomorrow. Or
Yep.
no, I'm sorry. Today they
Wednesday.
played yesterday, so Wednesday. You know what I'm
Wednesday.
Yeah, they got
saying?
to travel.
We,
So Wednesday.
yeah, this is a. Let's not forget OKC. As good as they are and being the better team, they are still young. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? They are still young. So let's see what they look like under these bright, bright lights of Indiana Wednesday night when all of the pressure is still on them to go in there as the quote unquote better up 2-1. Or are you going to let Indiana go up 2-1? Because if Indiana goes up 2-1, you still got another game in Indiana. So now you fighting of a chance of them going up 3-1. So, at the end of the day, that's why I say, hey, yeah, did they lose last night? They did, but relax. This is a veteran coach team with a veteran, coaching staff is what I mean, because Indiana is kind of young too. But I do feel like they still have, they're deeper when it comes to the veterans off the bench and stuff like that, and in the lineup with your Miles Turners and McConnell, players like that have been around. This series not over. They did what they wanted to do. They went in there and they got one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really like you said, when you start a series, especially as the away team, it's the best of two, right? Because like you said, you're hoping for a split and then a split at minimum. If you can get both, cool. But if you can get one, and for the finals, they kept the regular format, right? 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't, because I know forever it was 2-3-2, and that was just like, damn. But
Yep.
It's funny you said that, Mike, because I'm sitting here thinking in my head, damn, I missed that old 2-3-2 format. I missed that format. I missed that format. Could you imagine if we
Oh,
had
that would
that
be sick.
format right now and Indiana was about to be at home for 3 straight games against
Yeah, that would be
OKC?
sick. That would be sick.
yeah, yeah, because they already got the one they needed.
Yeah,
So
that would definitely tilt the series over to Indiana, in my opinion, because they're going to at least win one, and if they can pull off a two gamer, the series is pretty much it's a wrap.
and so in your opinion, guys, tomorrow or Wednesday, who wins game 3?
Whoo! I gotta roll with Indiana. I'm rolling with Indiana. I know OKC was hot last game and they blew them out the water, but I feel like they're going to readjust. And like R&B was saying, there's something about that veteran presence and having people that already been at the big show, like your Pascal Siakams. Indiana made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So this is really nothing new to them. This is just getting to the finals is new for some of them. And when you have a great coach like Rick Carlisle, you're going to find a way to close out games and do it the right way. So I got OKC probably splitting the series in Indiana, so it's going to go 1-1 again. But I feel like Game 3 is going to go to Indiana at home.
I'm riding with Raj on that one. I really don't even have much to say because he perfectly articulated every sentiment in my head. I'm rolling with him. I think Indiana definitely takes game 3, and I think OKC will come back and get game 4. And I'm seeing it the same way.
Hmm. For this game, I think Indiana will come out hot, and I think they'll cool off. I'm gonna go with OKC goes up 2-1. But I do believe this series, I know we're not there yet, but there's going to be 2 games before the next show. So I do believe that the series goes back to OKC still tied 2-2 for game 5.
So
Okay.
you got So you got OKC game 3 and Indiana game 4.
Correct. I believe this goes 7. That's
Okay.
what we're at.
Yeah, I feel it will. I feel it will go 7 as well.
Absolutely.
But I will say this: if it goes 7, that's actually a bad thing for OKC.
Oh, the
That's
only thing that'll be on their side is they'll be home for that game
Right.
7. It's the only thing that'll be good for them, but they got to be careful because if it's all on the line,
Right.
it's a big shot. Halliburton's gonna be like, "This is my time."
If it goes 7, because we got to see. OKC's young. Don't let Indiana win both of these.
Don't do
Yeah.
it, or else it's gonna be an uphill battle.
Yep.
So, I wanted to talk about Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal.
Oh man.
So, from what I've read, I don't know if you guys have read anything different or indifferent. From what I've read, Kevin Durant wants out of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what Phoenix wants. But from what I understand is Phoenix wants Bradley Beal out of Phoenix. But I think Bradley Beal has a no trade clause.
Yes, he does.
So, what is the R&B? What do you think is the correct move for Phoenix moving forward to do anything to make this team have anything worth looking at on the floor come September? R&B, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't. It kind of bounced in and out for a second, but when it came back in, you were still talking. So I didn't know you were asking me a question.
I said, what do you think it would take? What do you think that is the right move for Phoenix in order to put something worth looking at on the court come September between, Kevin Durant, Beal? Like, what should they do in order to put something worth looking at on the court?
That's a trick question, Mike, because it's nothing they can do. It's nothing they can do. They fucked up. They gotta rebuild. You gotta try as hard as you can to get Bradley Beal to waive the no trade clause to see what you could possibly get for him, if anything. Just to put him on the market, just to see if there are any buyers who may say, hey, we got a strong team, hey, Indiana, if they come up short, what I'm saying, it might be a team out there that could say, at the very least, we could use them as a veteran star presence to, help put us over the top. You never know. Maybe it might be somewhere out there that you can try to wager with him and where he'll be willing to waive the no trade clause and maybe go compete for a championship. You got to try it because you got to try to get what you can for him. And you got to try to get what you can for Kevin Durant at this point. It's time to move on. It did not work. It was a travesty. I personally never thought it was going to work because Bradley Beal came in and just was, completely a no-show. Like he was hurt for so long. And that put a lot of the wear and tear on KD and Devin Booker to where they had to carry. And, they were getting first-round exits. And it's just it wore them down, in my opinion. I think it wore them down. The chemistry was never there. It was lacking. It just was a bad recipe for a meal, like I said yesterday. It was a bad recipe for a meal. It did not turn out right. And, they're going to have to part ways with both of them if they can. And the number one thing overall You gotta hope that you can convince Devin Booker to stay there through a rebuild. I'm not convinced that I seen a rumor that that the Knicks might be entertaining with Phoenix to a pursuit. Both of them are hot. The Knicks for KD and Phoenix to get Karl Anthony Towns to pair him back up with Booker because of their Kentucky connection or whatever. I read that one. That's not gonna do it, Phoenix. It's not gonna do it. You bringing in another. Though I will say Cat does play. He's on the floor when he's healthy. I'm gonna give him that. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But we all know he has bad feet and bad knees. And by the end of the season he's playing beat up and injured, more so than others. Even though everybody will say, oh, everybody beat up and injured by the end of the season. Some people are more so than others beat up by the end of the season. And Karl Anthony Towns is one of those players. So I don't see that. If that's true, if there's any truth to that, rumor, I don't see that as the move that puts Phoenix back in contention. Like, to be honest with you, so what I'm saying. That's why I say that's a trick question because, in my opinion, I don't think it's anything they can do. They just have to rebuild. It's time to rebuild.
Well,
this is the second franchise KD has done this with, Brooklyn being another one.
Yep.
Well, oh, Jesus, damn phone. So, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to add on to what you said because you didn't say it, but you said it. You're looking at a scenario where you can lose all three.
Yeah.
Can
you look? Go ahead. You got something? Go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead.
I'm going to add on to that, and rightfully so. I believe you should. Because
go ahead.
Yep, go ahead. No. Go ahead, Mike, because I'm going to give my take on it after you're done.
Okay. Mine's not even long because R&B really said everything.
My bad.
No, you good.
Nah, you gave us some good points. You said everything I was going to say.
Because you look at it, you look at where we are now with this team. What's left for them to do? What's left for them to fight for? You got to start over. And let's be honest. Like I said yesterday, if you ain't there to win the championship, what you doing there?
Exactly.
These guys, Devin Booker don't want to be part of the
with that payroll. With that payroll and that name power, facts.
Yep.
So you can move Kevin Durant. Bradley Bill's gonna be the one that's hard to move because you gave him that no trade clause, or he took it from wherever from Washington. I don't even know how it came into play, but be that as it may, he has it. So now you
might be right too, Mike.
What's that?
About Bradley Beal might be real tough to move because think about it. You just said a mouthful without even knowing it. Think about this shit here. Dude had an opportunity 2 times to leave Washington, and yet he stayed up for the max to stay there and play for that sorry ass franchise. So I wanted to say, when I heard you talking, the first thing popped in my mind was to think, well, you would think Bradley Beal would want to go contend at this point in his career, but he's already showed us that it's all about the money for him. So it's not a guarantee that he'll be willing to waive the no trade clause to go play for a different team. They might have to cut him or buy him out.
Right. So go ahead, Raj.
And this is what I was going to say. This is how I would approach it if I'm the GM and I'm the owner of the team, right? I'm going to sit down with Devin Booker and I'm going to sit down with Kevin Durant. I'm going to say, listen, give me your top 3 places and destinations you want to go, right? Once I do that, I'm going to get a haul of draft picks and young prospects on my team for the next, I don't know how long Bradley Bill's contract is, but for the next few years, I'm going to rebuild this team for the next probably 3 seasons. And I'm going to do it because you guys messed up big time. Signing Kevin Durant and signing Bradley Beal to a team that already made it to the finals. They already made it to the finals with CP3 and DeAndre Ayton. So they didn't have to go out there and try to hit a home run. They was better off just giving out singles, going out there just trying to just get to the base. Yep. So if you're going to focus on a championship team, you got to start all over again because you already gave up your center. You gave up DeAndre Ayton, even though he really wasn't a good center, but he was decent. He was decent in my mind.
I mean, you got to the finals with him. There's one of your
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Pieces. You already got to the finals. You already did what you had to do. But now all of a sudden you want to change the formula. So now you got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant did this in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant did this in Golden State, where he gives up on a team and he's no longer serviceable. So we got to look at it like this. If we could give Kevin Durant one more chance to get some picks from him, right, then we're taking it. And then as far as Devin Booker, hey, look, you pick your destination. You've been great with the organization, but it's time for you to go out there and win a championship. I'm sending him to LA. I'm sending him somewhere. I'm sending him either to the Clippers or the Lakers because he deserves that. He deserved the Luka treatment, even though Luka wasn't expecting to get traded. But what I'm saying is he shouldn't have to be in a position where he's going out there playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. No offense to him, but you know what I'm saying, a team that's not even trying.
Right.
So I would definitely look out for them and get what I can from those guys because Bradley Beal, let me say this real quick, and I don't want to be long-winded, but I got to say this real quick. Bradley Beal's wife have set up businesses in Arizona, in Phoenix. That man ain't going nowhere. Okay? That man is not going nowhere. He already let everybody know, like R&B said, it's about the money with him. It's not about winning championships. It's not about winning. It's about going out there, putting 20 points up a night, and then, of course, getting this huge paycheck. So it is what it is. Get what you can, keep Bradley, and see what happens. Let it be a lottery team for the next 3 to 5 years.
You heard me, Raj.
What'd you say?
I say he ain't even good for giving you that no more. The 20 again.
Exactly. He'd be lucky to put up 14 points. This dude, man, I mean, for him to be like, for him to be a multiple-time All-Star to now what he is today is sad. It's sad,
but I will. The only benefit of the doubt I give Bradley Beal is that he has had out of nowhere some devastating injuries. But you know what? That's what happens when you give all of your best prime years to a sorry-ass franchise like the Washington Wizards, and then you wait till you in your 30s to want to go chase a championship, and now all of a sudden all of the severe injuries are kicking in on them and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like just leave and no shit like that, but come on, man. But like Bradley Beal definitely is one of the players that we could have looked at and said he put his time in Washington before he went on the ring hunt. He put too much time in Washington before he decided to go on the ring hunt.
Definitely stayed too long. And you know what? We used to say the same thing about Giannis. We like, damn, is this dude ever going to win the ring? But they won. So that goes to show you. Sometimes you can be too loyal to the organization.
And it does nothing.
I don't remember saying that about Giannis because Giannis was young and you know what I'm saying? Like we felt like Giannis was coming. He was winning MVPs and shit. I don't know if I could compare the Bradley Beal saga to Giannis because Giannis won MVPs and won the championship. The only time the Bucks suck is when he first got there, when he was fucking a 19-year-old scrawny going through puberty kid. Once he became Giannis, once he became the Greek Freak, that franchise has not looked back. Bradley Beal did not do that for Washington. He just put up numbers and losing efforts. And all they did was give him moderate to no talent to work with, Kyle Kuzma and all these motherfuckers.
Yeah. True.
Yo, man. Yeah, that's true. But we'll see how it goes.
That was a good question, though.
Yeah, very good question.
Appreciate it. But now we're talking about teams moving. Speaking of teams moving, we're going to talk about teams returning or new teams. There is rumor that Adam Silver wants to add 2 teams I believe it's 2, to the NBA, do an expansion. Let me see if I can find any more diverse information on it.
Wasn't one of them supposed to be bringing the Seattle Supersonics back?
Yeah.
Here we go.
What I heard it was.
And Gary Payton better be the head coach if they do. At least the first one.
So Silver says he thinks they should Seattle and Las Vegas are the 2 teams.
Yeah, Las Vegas. And it's rumored that LeBron might have something to do with the Vegas thing. They say he might be the one that's trying to own the Vegas thing because, they say he want to own a team so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I would say this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not real good at social studies or history, but damn it, I know a thing or two about geography.
Don't know much about.
I'm not mistaken. Those 2 teams are in the Western Conference, which means you got 2 choices. You either got to boot 2 teams from the West to the East, or you got to bring in a total of 4 teams to make it work. Because it's not gonna be balanced.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on a possible expansion altogether? Whoever wants to take it first.
What's that?
Whichever one of you guys wants to take it first.
Real quick. So here's the thing about the Las Vegas team, right? From what I'm hearing, Dallas is moving to Las Vegas. That's the reason why they traded away Luka. Of course,
I've heard that rumor too.
But they're trying to move because the owners of the Dallas Mavericks now is really highly invested into gambling. So they got casinos. They're trying to build a casino out there in Dallas, but for some reason, the Texas law isn't allowing it. So they're trying to plan a move to Las Vegas. Now, I don't know how that's going to include LeBron, or if it is going to include LeBron, but I know that's their plan is to get out to Vegas, from what I'm hearing. Now, as far as the Seattle team, of course, yes, adding another team out there in Seattle will make it uneven. So they're probably going to bring over a team like, trying to think of a fringe team that can go to the East. Probably like the Memphis Grizzlies.
Or New Orleans.
I know that's New Orleans too.
Yeah, New Orleans is East Coast,
right? Remember the New Orleans, Charlotte Hornets used to be in the East Coast.
Yeah. So those type of teams, you got like the Pelicans, teams like the Grizzlies could go. You probably Utah.
No, I think Utah is too far west.
Too far west.
Yeah, you're near California.
Because you have to account for the travel, so it's only going to be teams that that it can be close distance travel for, like within conference play and stuff like that. You don't want motherfuckers feeling like they going on a West Coast road trip to play a fellow conference team.
Okay, well then I would probably say that what's the name will be in the East.
Memphis, New Orleans, or Charlotte. One of those 3.
I mean, well, no. I was going to say Minnesota because Minnesota's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, they can get away with it. That one.
I know back in the days, I believe they used to have them on the Eastern Conference. But my point is, they're going to move a team. They're not going to keep it that way.
Or two. If they add both, both, they have to move 2.
Yeah, but I will say this: if they do get those expansion teams, man, you're gonna see a lot of people LeBron trying to be owners, and even former superstars like you mentioned, Gary Payton. Those guys are going to have some type of investment in it. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, do you guys think it would be good for the league to add these expansion teams? Like, I know Adam Silver is always thinking about ways to make the league better, right? You know, he added the play in, which I was against, but it's done good for the league, in my opinion.
I like
Um,
it.
he's done this World Cup, and for the love of God, change those fucking courts. They hurt my eyeballs.
I like the Atlanta court though.
But I understand. I get it. It gives the players something else to kind of play for. Excuse me. And all that stuff. But does adding two teams really help the league, in you guys' opinion? Obviously, it brings more money in. We know that. You got, 82, 164 more games or whatever it is. You're going to have, more tickets sold, this and that. We get that. It obviously brings in revenue, but does it help the league itself? To me, it flattens the playing field more, kind of has a chance to bring mediocrity in, a little more.
And it's already a lot of mediocrity. So I
Right.
feel you on that one.
Because I feel that's the reason I was against the play-in was because, like, if you bust your ass to get that 8th seed, sometimes that 8th seed is dangerous, man. Now you're telling a team that could have lost 12 more games and be the 10th seed, they might just have a lucky couple nights, and now they're in and I'm out. Like, that's just my thing. But what do you guys think? Does it help the league in totality?
I think it does. I think it
That's
helps,
tough.
I'm saying that because I believe that it expands the game and it makes it like even more exciting for others to get involved. Like think about it. There was people against OKC being a team. There was a
True.
time when people didn't really want a team in Oklahoma, like until they proved that okay, this is like a college type atmosphere. There's a lot of people who are dedicated fans in that state, and it became fun. And now they're
Well,
going they're what
the
3
one- the
wins
one.
away from winning the championship.
Go ahead, my
So
bad.
this so it just shows you like a team that's really not recognized or really a team that's a big market team can win. So I think it's exciting, but I will say this. I don't know if you guys heard this part. I don't mean to switch the subject a little bit, but Adam Silver's trying to make a team over in Europe.
Oh man. Well, that would be bad for traveling purposes.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. He's all about expanding. So
But the only pushback I give with the whole OKC argument, though, is that we have to realize that at the time when they made this whole transition, you had drafted a up and coming budding superstar and Kevin Durant, and then you
mhm,
had all those other picks to come in and follow with Russell Westbrook, James Harden,
James Harden.
Serge
Yep.
Ibaka. You know what I'm saying? So like they were. If you four teams are not going to be able to pull that off, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna suffer, if not all four, because you know what I'm saying, we ain't seen I ain't seeing no Kevin Durant type player, coming up soon, you know what I'm saying? At least not right now. Not nobody that's looking like they gonna grow into that just yet. But time will tell. Somebody great will come along, but at the same time, you also have to look at the fact that they had the luck of the draw when all of that happened.
Hmm. True.
Hmm. Well,
Plus, plus you still had Ray Allen at the time.
That's true.
ooh. So we'll see what happens with that for sure. Another thing I wanted to discuss was I know we're all kind of done with the All-Star game. I know it brings tears to my heart. Every year, February comes, and I pray that it'll be better. I pray that it'll be greater, that it'll be like it was. And every year I watch as a fan and allow my heart to break before my eyes. You know, it's like the Grim Reaper just came after me or something. But from what I heard, Adam Silver is saying it's going to be the NBA versus the world. Something Raj has been mentioned on here before.
Hmm.
Um, do you guys believe that this will help the ever dying All Star Weekend?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I may be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I have to say I don't think it's gonna help. I just don't have faith. I don't have faith in this generation. Eventually it's probably gonna get to a point where these dudes are gonna start trying to opt out of not playing. Like, okay, you want to keep pushing the envelope, doing this, doing that, trying to challenge us. How about if I just don't play? I just opt out. I don't want to play. I'm hurt.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's probably what's gonna start happening. The hope is that we're gonna get these overseas players who seem to be a little more competitive. Your Jokers, your Giannis's, and you're
Mhm.
hoping that it's gonna spark some type of quote unquote beef that maybe
Mhm.
they'll want to go at each other or whatever, or prove who's the most dominant or who's the best. But it's obvious that the players all know what they've been trying to do over the past 6 to 7, 8 years maybe to improve the All-Star Weekend festivities and make not all of the festivities, but the All-Star game in particular. That's what we're talking about. What they've been trying to do to improve the All-Star game, and the players know this. Have they done anything to say, okay, we're gonna compete now because you did this? They have not. So I have to say I don't believe in it because recent history tells me they don't give a fuck what Adam Silver does. They didn't give a fuck what David Stern did. They just once they stop competing, they stop competing. Hey man, this is what we get in LeBron led era.
Mm. Wow. That's a
Yeah,
fact, though.
I do
While
believe
I while I wear the six.
that. I do believe this will not help. I agree. I think it's going to be the same old song and dance, and not to mention just even like Saturday night used to be the main event in a sense,
Mhm.
and I mean the skills competition is horrific. You know, that's just pathetic. And then the 3 point shot. They're like
Fully
that's
That's
like
competition.
that's the best. That's the best thing in a weekend now.
that's the best thing all together. And then the dunk contest, man. I mean, it's just like, bro, like it's become unwatchable, and it's become, excuse me, unbearable. I don't foresee it getting better because, like y'all said, the players don't care. There's no incentive for them to care. Like it's like an exhibition that they just don't care. I mean, even like the voting process, it's like all these are run down now. I mean, I don't really watch baseball. I don't know how their All Star Weekend works if it's run down, but the same thing with the Pro Bowl. It's literally flag football now. Like it's literally like flag football. You like it used to be an honor to be voted in as a Pro Bowler. Now it's like a joke. Same thing as an All-Star. Used to be like an honor. now it's a joke. I mean, that's just how that's just how I see it. It's not gonna
It,
be.
it
It's
used
not
to
gonna be any better.
it used to be a flex to want to go against the best. I
Yeah.
remember watching Pro Bowls back in the day when I was younger, like in high school, and Ray Lewis would be in the Pro Bowl and he'd be out there hitting like it was week 5, week
Mm-hmm.
6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He out there hitting. Chad Ochocinco out there trying to show every top cornerback in the league that they can't fuck with him or that they can't check him. Every top cornerback in the league trying to show that they can shut Chad down or that they can keep up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something about the competitiveness of mano a mano. It's just not there anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
It, it's very lacking. I'm not gonna say it's not there, but it's very lacking, and it taints it, man. Like it should be an honor to what I'm saying, go against the best of the best. If I was in the NBA and I was playing in an All Star game against LeBron James, I'm gonna try to go at LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to go at every if I'm an all star and it's another all star playing on the other conference and we both came in the same year, we around the same age, that means that they think that you on my level or
Hmm.
that you might be better than me. So this is an opportunity for me to show that you're not. Are you gonna answer the challenge? We seen Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant answer the challenge. We seen Stephon Marbury and other Ray Allen answer the challenge. And, what I'm saying? Like it, we could go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? To some of the good things we've seen in All Star games and so on and so forth, or our All Star weekend and dunk contest as a whole. But it's just I don't know, man. I don't have faith in it, but I do wish that they would consider really taking the ideal that Stephen A. Smith keeps throwing out there more seriously, because I do feel like that's a good idea that he came up with. Since these players don't really want to be involved like that, how about we start a thing where we get the best players in the league, what I'm saying, not G Leaguers and so on and so forth. We get the best players in the league, your best dunkers, your Ja Morants, you know what I'm saying, and as they keep fluctuating in, because things, it's always going to be a domino effect. So these it's going to keep coming along. But I'm saying, like, you get some of these guys together and you go out here and you find some of these YouTube dunkers or some of these street dunkers and stuff like that, and sponsor them and put money behind them. It ain't got to be nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys, let's be honest, broke or struggling or barely getting by, but got talent and never could sniff the league or so on and so forth. Shit, even if you put, $100,000 or $500,000 is the grand prize, those dudes are gonna go compete for that shit because that's life changing money for them. It might be,
Right.
what I'm saying, a sniff, whatever, to somebody who got 500, 600 million in the bank, or even maybe less than that. But for somebody who's struggling or trying to make ends meet or living check to check or just living an average struggling life, that's life changing money. They're gonna compete for that shit. So I think that's a great idea that they really should start possibly looking into trying to, see what they could get out of it, because I don't want to see fucking Mac McClung again. Even though he was exciting this year, some of the dunks he did, I was like, it was pretty smooth, but like, man, I want to see some shit
You
like
want to
we
see
used
some?
to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a show. I want to see a fucking show.
We all do.
I'm gonna say this about the All Star game, and
Hmm.
I'm telling you, mark my words. If you gotta mark this on, clip this, whatever. This is going to change everything in a positive way. And the reason I'm saying that is because if the world goes out there and gives the US the business like they do over in the Olympics, you're going to see a competitiveness come out. Because one thing I've learned about these NBA players is that they don't like to be showed up.
Yeah.
And I know money's always the motivation. They're trying to protect their brand and all that stuff. But we watch the Olympics and we watch how competitive it gets, especially when they're whooping their ass. When the U.S. start getting their butts kicked, they're like, all right, we got to come back and do something. So if the U.S. loses against the world in a blowout fashion, if you losing against Giannis, Shea Gildress, who else is a world player?
Luka, Joker.
Luka, Joker. If they go out there and put on a damn show and beat them by 30, even 20 points, you best believe they're going to run it back again the next All-Star game, and the U.S. is going to compete like never before. Because that's embarrassing. Not only embarrassing for yourself, but embarrassing for the whole entire country. Embarrassing for the whole entire NBA. Because we know that the NBA was built with American athletes. Now you got these dudes like Giannis, Jokic, Luka, all these dudes that can give y'all 20, 30 points a night. And we never seen this type of renaissance before when it comes down to international players. Like we had our Steve Nash and Peja Stojakovic and stuff. Dirk. We had those players, but never we have seen players by every team got at least 2 or 3 good international players on it. So we'll see what happens this All-Star game. But if they get blown out, mark my word, you're going to see competitive basketball come back at an All-Star game because they're not going to allow them to beat them by 10, 20, 30 points. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I would say even if they lose, even if it ain't a blowout, even if they lose.
Yeah, because they're not going to hear the end of it. ESPN going to keep running it back. They're going to keep they're going to keep mentioning oh, these guys, they lost competitive edge. Now the world caught up and look, especially now that Jordan's back, Jordan being back, oh man, you're gonna hear a lot of trash talk because Jordan's gonna be like, "Yo, if I was on that court, I'd be giving that business. We ain't losing." So I'm looking forward to it. I know the other competition like the dunk contest and skills competition might be lost, but I truly have faith in this format of the world versus the U.S. I like it, especially when you got superstars like the ones that we see right now in the that's under the world title.
Well, to your point, the skills competition, they keep changing it and they're making it worse. You've seen this year when it was the Spurs and they were just throwing the ball.
Man.
I'm like, you're hurting. You're hurting the integrity of the competition. You're not even trying. Niggas really pulled out the rule book. Like they really read the rules. I was like, yo, this is nasty work. This is legendary nasty work. They are really reading the rules to the competition. So,
Chris Paul should be suspended for the rest of the season for that. He should be forced to retire for that.
To one of the former, I believe, NBA union leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He was CJ McCollum does it now.
He was an NBA PA.
Yes.
Players Association.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
He was the president.
Here performing nasty work. Performing dental work with no tools.
Exactly. He should be forced to retire after that. He had my man Wembanyama doing some illegal stuff. He just going.
Jeez.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
Oh man. Well, we're getting to that time. We did a show yesterday. We did 2.5-hour shows. No, there's still a couple topics kind of out there, but we got the main ones done. Was there anything else you guys wanted to cover before we sign off of here?
No, that's it. By the way, in 2 weeks, guys, the NBA draft is coming. And I just want everybody to pay attention, because those are the future superstars. They're saying that this is probably going to be one of the most loaded NBA drafts in the past 4 or 5 years. So just wanted to say that real quick. Just look out for it in the next 2 weeks.
All right, we'll be
Okay.
paying attention to that.
I got one thing I want to say, and we will be talking about this in future weeks, fellas.
Okay.
Are y'all ready for this Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight in September? If you a boxing fan, if you are a boxing fan, this is one for all the marbles here. This gonna be a good one. This gonna be a good one.
Where is it taking place?
To be determined, but it is
Okay.
finalized. I
Okay.
think they're thinking about doing it in Vegas, but they haven't finalized anything yet, so it's still to be determined as far as where. But the fight is happening.
It's on.
That
It's
sounds
on.
good. Bring boxing back, man. For real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's all we got tonight. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back next Monday. Check out all the clips on all the pages, and we'll see you guys next week. I'll leave it to you guys to close.
All right, guys. Make sure you guys check out our page. Make sure you guys check out the podcast will be dropping next week as well. We'll be doing more things online, more social media, live reactions, all that stuff. So I look forward to it, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Be blessed. Don't be stressed.
Cool. Peace.
Peace.
Okay.